Hi guys, Dave in Texas here. What you're looking at is a Vox Jaguar. Yeah, really nice little practice keyboard, okay? Not like the Continental, which is a gig keyboard. This is the Jaguar. This is the one step below it, alright? But still a good, practice keyboard. But not as sturdy as the Continental, which came later on the Vox thing. Now, this was made in Italy, right? For the American and the English trade, okay? It's got a full set for the organ, right? It's called a combo. And it's got some problems with it, right? First problem is it started out to be a Casio. I was asked by the owner to work on his Casio that was picking up a radio interference on it. And he couldn't figure out what the heck it was and where it was coming from, right? Kind of like messages from the stars. Who knows? But anyway, he thought, well, if I can repair, organs and pianos, I should be able to repair this one. Unfortunately, I never repaired anything that's 55 years old, older than me. But here we go, okay? I've ordered a set of schematics for this piano, this organ. And I should get that next week. I hope they're a full set. The guy said they were. And it started out during the week, real quickly, looking for a set of schematics for the Vox Jaguar, not Continental, because they're different. And the only set I found available were from this asshole in Utah that wanted $100 for them. He wanted a 4-page setup of schematics of this organ, right, for $100 plus shipping. I said, well, you gotta be kidding me. So, normally these things are free. I pay for them, and now I'll pay you $100 for them, because we'll try to find a set, bucko, and hung up on me. So I did find a set, hopefully, just knock on wood, that is a full set, and I can actually do some good for this organ. There's not that much wrong with it. It's got some keys down here that stick, right? That's just a mechanical issue. But it's got a chord down here that continually plays and won't go off. That's an electronics problem, as well as a switch problem. That's a little more trickier. And what really concerns me is that some genius changed over the power source of this piano, this organ, and you'll see that he's circumvented the 2-prong, right, original cord this came with, and put the transformer contact to power this, which is like damn dangerous. It looks like he did a good job. I'm going to go in there and take a look closer at it. Basically, if I could put this back the way it was, I would. It may solve some of the issues, but I'm not really sure. This is guessing. But it's always best to be original. Now, that would be a lot more work and a lot more money to put it back the way it was. And he wants these things that I pointed out fixed. That's all he wants. Okay, so this entire frame lifts up to expose, right, the back of it, as well as this lifts up to show the undercarriage. Sorry, this lifts up to show the undercarriage of the controls and contacts for the keys. So it shouldn't be that hard to work on it. Just a couple of screws to remove that they put in there, and go from there. So, looks like next week I'll start working on this after I finish all the setups on the guitars, which came first. And ta-da, I've got a nice big double cone amp that goes with this. A Roland stereo type. Whoa, there's one that sticks and broken. Where am I? Right there. What is you? That one sticks, or does it? No, it's just the camera looks. Anyway, hi guys, Dave in Texas here, and what you're looking at is a little Vox Jaguar, the inside of the electronics portion of it. The keyboard needs to be lifted up and checked too for the mechanics of it, but we did identify the fact this is made in 1969. All the boards are 69, marked 1969. So, there you be. And I've already done an hour's worth of work scanning over these boards, looking at them, see if I can find a cold solder spot. Nothing comes up or jumps up to mind and say, hey, there's a problem. I just don't see that yet. Of course, I don't have the schematics yet either. So I've got to really wait for those to get into electronics. What I'm hoping to do is work on the mechanics today of those sticking keys and broken keys, and the other key problems I may see. Now I want to look at electronics, the power source as well, because that's been rigged where it should not have been rigged. They should have just gone out and got a better power cord for this thing rather than turning it into a transformer. That was a mistake. Everybody that works on these things told me so. That's a mistake. Shouldn't have done that. It's like, why'd they do it? They couldn't find a cord to fit it. I said, okay, well, go to your nearest antique store, look for an old coffee pot, and there they are. Or have one made. They can still make them for you. But that's what we're looking at doing, guys. We're going to try to clean this thing up, get all the dust out. First of all, because it's really dusty on the inside. And do a little bit of cleaning on it today. But we won't be touching any electronics today because we don't have the schematics. And those things look so brittle and old, I'm afraid if I touch one, it may break off. And that's the last thing that we want. Okie dokie. And if you look at it, you're wondering what these things are. Of course, the board controls everything. But these pots here control the tuning of the organ itself. Yes, it can be tuned, okie doke, but I won't be doing that either because I'm not a piano or organ tuner. I don't do that. I don't tune these things. That you need a professional. That's what they do only. They tune pianos and organs. So, look at this. We still have the keys that stick. All right, keep playing even though they're turned off. That we got to figure out what's going on underneath this board here. Okie dokie. And once I get that up, take a look at it. We'll see what's happening with it. It's on a piano hinge, so it should come right up. But there's something catching it, so I got to be real careful and wait till I get the diagrams. Okay, I'm back inside the little box. Now I'm going to show you one of the typical boards for one of the keys. Let's take one of the E keys, the E. Let's go with that. Now if you'll look, like I said, this is the pot that adjusts the tone of it when you tune it, which I can't do. But if you'll look, there's a lot of things been bent and pushed over inside this, which really shouldn't be. But these cards are a mass of resistors and caps, just a mass of them, right? But if that schematic's any good, it'll show me the test point where I can test to see exactly what's wrong with this particular key, right? There should be test points located on here somewhere. I can set a scope or a voltmeter and say, that's the one that's bad, okay, and replace it. At least if they're no good, if it's no good, I can't do anything. It doesn't show me the test points, but I surely don't know this board at all, or this electronics on this. I got to have the schematics to do anything for this thing to be fixed. But if you look, a lot of these parts have been pushed over and bent over, and that's never good, because that leads to a weak connection, okay? And there's still a lot of dust inside this and a lot of foreign material. I don't see anything that could cause a contact inside here, like a piece of metal or solder that's broken off and causing a contact, or a hot switch, or even a cold solder joint. I can't see that. I have to actually remove these plates. And what you do, of course, is that you simply unscrew this screw here and then pull it free of this card right here, right? Just pop it right out. And you check it and do what you have to do. But like I said, without that schematic coming in this week, not a lot I can do right now, but just clean it up. And just let the air get to it. Son of a gun. And back to the mechanics of it. Cleaning it out is all I can do right now. Wait till the schematics come in this week, and that should be sometime in the middle of the week. So hang in there, guys, until I get back with some more information. Okay, guys, I'm back with the Vox Jaguar, right? And I'm looking inside for the first time underneath the keys, mechanical side of this, and some of the board work. As you can see, if I pointed out, someone's absolutely boogered this board. They shoved it behind this little lead here and actually bent the board backwards, which means all those little strips are circumspect, or suspect. So let's be all checked, make sure it's not broken then. It looks like it may have broken this one off here. You can see it's been bent backwards to go underneath this. For what reason, I have no idea. Plus, a lot of screws are missing from this board. That's, you know, it's telling me that's part of the problem. It's a problem part of the organ, the chords. Alrighty. So that could be a real big red light. And I see a broken, or sorry, not broken, it's bent contact rod. It's one of the keys in constant contact. That could be the one keeps playing, right? I see some glue issues that they tried to glue a broken key back into position and did a bad job of it, dripped it to come on a few parts. I see some brittle wires, right? Good news is the putty on these contacts, these spring contacts, is just like it was new. Still pliable, still in place, does not need to be replaced. So that's really good to know. Because that's a booger to replace those from what I can see. So, I hate to do that. But something else that's coming into mind is that all the tarnish on these brass contactors, right? It's like, wow, is that going to be an issue? I hope not. I've got brass cleaners, but those are just too thin to go in and start scrubbing with a brass brush. And if it would do any good, I don't know. I kind of doubt it. The main thing is the contact. As long as that tarnish does not build up so much that the contact doesn't work anymore, which I doubt that can happen. But you're looking at this inside and underneath the keyboard of Jaguar. It's probably the first or second time it's been lifted up in years. According to the owner, he's never looked underneath it. Here's what it looks like. Underside of the keys. This is how you work on the mechanical section as well as the electrical section of this organ. And on this particular chord set, this bar that contacts, someone's broken it free and it's down here. So that's got to be fixed. And get this one player back behind where it belongs. That's got to be fixed. And that board has to be looked into because that's part of the problem right there. Got issues with that board. And as I said before, this thing has definitely got some power issues. That's what really scares me on this whole setup, this whole work job, right? What to do about that power? How it's been changed. I really don't want to get in there and monkey with that. You know, it's never safe to try to get in there without releasing schematics. And those are coming. Those will be here. And we'll go from there before I even lift up that plate. And we'll contemplate working on that section. Okay, what's going on with this, guys, is that first of all, on this side, we've got a key that remains on and won't stop playing. We have several keys that are stuck. Some don't work. And one there, you see, is broken. Right jar. Okay? And some bad ones down here at this end, too. So, I've been asked to look at this if I can, you know, fix it. Okay? Well, I've never worked on one before, but I've sure worked on plenty of computers and PLCs and a few other animules that require you to be able to read schematics. And look what I got in. Got set schematics in yesterday late, and it shows me basically all the test points. Holy jumping jack, man, oh man. When I lift it up, if you've not seen inside before, you're going to see an unbelievable amount of old technology. Let's do this. Look at this, guys. I'm going to have to move the camera around a bit. But I want you to look at this and look at each board. It controls a key and the notes that it plays, and its ability to play with the other notes and other keys. Look at this, guys. This is a friggin' nightmare. Alright? So, I've got X number of boards that have X number of test points to go over. And I was told by the guy that sold me the blueprints, you had better check every single one. And I said, well, why? Why would I do that? He goes, well, wouldn't you feel stupid? I already do feel stupid. But wouldn't you feel stupid if you went through, found the exact problems, fixed those, and some crept up because you didn't look far enough into the project? Yeah, that would make me look like pretty much a jerk, okay? Which I already feel like a jerk on this thing, but I'll go through, as you see, I'll test every one of these boards, okie dokie. I'll remove them and clean the pins on them for any oxidation, right? These, understand these playing keys, that's not a problem. This is okay, right? This will not affect the playing of it. Just that the springs in them, where's the spring? The springs in them maybe need to be changed on some of the ones that are stuck or not playing well. But so far, there's a lot of springiness to the springs. Elasticity is the word for it. And they don't seem to be a problem. Okie dokie. Now, while checking this thing out further, let's lift this up a bit. Ta-da! I got underneath that keyboard and I started seeing all kinds of nasty little problems that are going to affect the way this thing plays, such as a broken control board on the chords. You see this, guys? That dark shadow there is because it's bent back behind something and some screws are missing from it. Now, I can obviously find the right screws to fit it. That's not a problem, but they've bent this board back for whatever reason. I have no idea. Okay? Now, when you do that to a board, you stand a chance of popping off solder spots, breaking continuity between these lines on the board, and basically making it totally useless. Now, there are no such thing as spare boards. Got me? You'd have to have one recreated for thousands of dollars if this one gets fucked up. Sorry, gets messed up. Whoopsie. Didn't mean to say that, so I'm here to cut it. As well as there's some other bent stuff on here, and it looks like, in my opinion, and the guy who sold me these plans, his opinion, somebody slammed this thing. You know, just got mad and went wham, kind of like Beethoven. Boom. So there's a bunch of bent ones in here. I've got to straighten the whiskers out on these things, right? And these whiskers are these little jewels right here. These little tiny, really thin wires. You got to either touch or not touch, right, when they're being played, or it just doesn't work. And if it's touching constantly, it means that it's screwed up and I have to fix it. Now, the problem is I don't have any spares of these. These are actually a part you have to order, you know, from an antique combo organ place, right? So I put a feeler out to find out how many I get. You know, I don't know if they have a bunch of them, but I'm willing to bet once I go through and start straightening, something's going to break. And I need to fix those as I break them. It's not that hard to do since they're so thin, and the fact they're easy to put back on if I can figure out where that putty came from that holds them in place and keeps them grounded up, right? I don't think I maybe I'll use the same old putty, but anyway, it's still pliant after 50, 60 years, so that's not bad. That's pretty good putty. And it's meant to be. It's not supposed to go hard on it. It's supposed to be stay soft, and remain like it remains. And it all is. You can put your fingernail in it. But, gosh, even with the plans, it's going to be a hell of a job and a lot of hours spent going through and checking everything, right? Make sure there's continuity on all these contacts. Jeez, I had no idea this thing was in this kind of shape when I said, okay, I'll do this. But I've seen worse. I've actually seen worse on YouTube. They're just smashed to hell, okay? They brought those back. So this one actually is in good condition. Not great, like some I've seen, but it's in good condition. So that helps a lot. You know, the condition always helps. So I guess the first thing I want to do is to get this board back the way it belongs, then check out the power supply. Because as I showed you in previous videos, someone has changed up the power supply from a direct contact and 110 outlet to a transformer. They changed it over to a transformer contact. It's like, damn, why did they do that? There's just some kind of notes inside why they did it. It's like, we're having a problem with this, we're having a problem with that. And I don't think it's because they couldn't find a cord that fit it. I mean, you can go to any antique store, look at a coffee pot from the 30s, and there's the cord that fits it, right? Those 2-hole cords look about like this and have 2 holes in them, you know. You've seen them, you know what I'm talking about. I hope. Anyway, my hands are going to be in front of every bit of the work I do on this, even when I'm testing it, right? So you're not going to be able to see anything. So I'm going to go through and make some changes to this, work on it today, as well as the blue guitar, the blue Squire, as much as I can, because the parts are still haven't come in for that guitar yet. Yeah, I ordered parts for it, and what do I get in? It says go ship tomorrow, ship tomorrow. This is all I got in. One pot. I was looking for a treble bleed system, and I didn't get it in. That's going to be in October 3rd when it comes in. That's what I got. That's all I got permanently, because that little part there is just broken off. There's nothing left, just pops right out. Okay, and that's the problem with that key sticking. Get an X-Acto knife out of the box, and we'll rig us up something to hold that thing there permanently. This tape will not give way for years. And I know that because this is the good stuff. We're going to tape that to hold it permanently without getting in the way of anything else. Damn it. I need to slice a piece down the middle. It's in half. Work it back there. Just grab that bar and pull it up. This is delicate stuff. Breathe on these things, you're liable to break one of them. Alright, that's got a good loop in it. The trick is to find a good tape spot to hold this in position. There's not much resistance to it, but it will come loose once I have a good tape on it. That should hold it. Because there's just the tiniest amount of contact goes on with that part. There's not like it's something being pressed against it. It's just barely touching it. Okay? So let's see if I can't work that a little bit better. Like this. Nope. I gotta have pressure on it. Damn it. Okay, let's cut that off. That's going to hold that in place for a long time. Okay, now what else can I do? I can double up on that. And get another piece of rod right here for secondary support, which is what I'm going to do. Same exact tape job, guys. Forming a little loop to grab the bar. And then I'm going to tape it to that box so that one should out of this crazy word fail. The other one won't. And this one is much easier to get my little hands on as well. Alternative is try to use some glue and block that bar from coming back down again, but glue fails, okay, especially under any kind of heat process. This tape being solid, a solid piece here, it's not going to go anywhere once I finish with it. There it is, contact on both spots. Let me pull it up. I'll made it loose. One came off. Good. And it came off when it did instead of later. This has got to come up or hold us in place. Well, that's not going anywhere this time. It's not in the work. It's not in the way, or it's not contacting those little reeds, those little copper reeds, what I call them. Which is good. So now, let's take this one more time. Get a better contact on this. That's not working. These are so much fun to work with, guys. You have got to think outside the box, because just buying that little plastic part from 50 years ago, good luck. Of course, I could contact a guy that sold me the phony key and see if he had a piece. He wanted to sell, bastard. Make sure I show that key that I got sent for 20 bucks. I should have known it was bad, you know. Older sounding guy, wouldn't take credit card, only cash money. No PayPal, nothing. Just 20 bucks in a piece of envelope and his address on it to his P.O. box. And I guess from being a fraud, or keep from being a fraud, he sent me something. You know, because it was U.S. mail. And you don't dick with them. But to pursue that for 20 bucks, I don't have the time. You know, I guess I should tell somebody about it, so I'm telling you guys. Don't ever buy anything through the mail that you gotta send cash for. You know, except PayPal, well, that's tough luck. You just won't get paid. And sooner or later, he'll get caught. They'll do something stupid like charge them way too much money for something, and it's worth their while to pursue him, you know, with the postal cops involved. Alright, now that's what I want. I want two pieces there to hold that part in place, because like I said, it's just barely contacted when it's being used. When it's in service, the little hair wires just barely touch it. Okay? Now, here again is that part he sent me that doesn't fit anything, little bastard. That I paid 20 bucks for through the mail. Big mistake. Should never trusted the guy. Sounded old and nice, and that's where I screwed up. Of course, he could have been just, you know, he may have screwed up, but I can't give him answer to the phone now. So that tells me I got screwed. Alright, let's do this. Let's flatten this thing out again. Take a break. Well, let's don't. Let's just flatten it out again. Lay it down gently. Alright. And see what's sticking. No. No. Alright, none of those keys are sticking. No, those are sticking. Okay, so it's got to be under power, it must be sticking. That, I'll have to check it out when I put it back together and fire it up, which is about time to do that. Okay, let's shut her down and plug her in. We'll turn everything off for a second. We'll just run the organ here. I'll put the lid back on, and we'll run the organ just on power alone with no amp involved, and see if there's anything sticking with the power. So hang in there, guys. So let's see if anything sticks with the power on. Sorry guys, I have to run this camera like this. Nope. Sorry. Nothing. Okay, nothing's sticking with the power on, okay? So that's telling me a few things. Maybe the contact switch in there, once you press it down, it stays down, but the key comes back up. That's the only thing I can make sense of. It sticks. Okay? So, let's turn it back off again. Dang, I don't get that. That sticks, it should stick, but it doesn't stick. God? Maybe electronically sticks. That's got to be it. You know, obviously the thing to fix this with, this key does stick. Get in there with a scraper, scrape that glue off best I can without breaking anything, and put that key back on there. And man, hope that does. That's just too much. Okay, so hang in there, guys. Why? Pull the amp around, set that up. Hang in there. I'm getting real close to finishing this job up with a Vox Jaguar and with the Roland double amp here. But I want to test something out. I want to test the guitar on all 4 channels of this amp and see if I can't better diagnose that hiss sound. Because so far I've not been able to isolate it other than maybe having an issue with one of the speakers. And I haven't got that yet. But anyway, I'll get it up on the bench and show you a bit later what I'm doing on the hiss sound. Because I'm pretty sure that's a ground and speaker issue, not the board. Damn it. Anyway, I'm not going to plug a guitar in and play it without someone's permission. Because this amp is dedicated to his organ, right? So I go and plug a guitar in this thing. He knows for a fact, like, hey, I had some guy plug in 2 years ago and screw something up on it. That's what I want to avoid. Always ask before you use somebody else's gear, especially if it's going to be doing something it normally doesn't do, right? This stuff is very old, very hard to replace these things, and I don't want to just take it upon myself to plug a guitar in and start playing and have something go beep. Oh yeah, last year Johnny plugged in and screwed the same thing up. Cost me $500 for fix and repair it. That's what you do, guys, when you do repairs like this, especially on antique type things like this. Always ask permission from the owner to do what you're going to do. Every single little tiny thing, like, hey, I'm going to blow dirt off it or whatever. But instead of hanging parts on it and costing this kid money, I want to do some testing on it more before I do that. Because I can always send that part back, okay? I don't have it right now. The neighbor's out of town, calls, telling me he's got my mail. Anyway, so we'll go from there, okay? We'll test it. And it comes down to the last resort, I'll start looking at putting parts on this amp to get that hiss to go away. But I don't want to spend more than $60 on parts on this thing because this kid is not rich by any means. And I'm trying to save this guy money. I've already spent 32 hours worth of time working on this thing, testing it, studying it, and researching and blah, blah, blah. Of course, that's not billable hours. That's just total time spent so far on these 2 items, 32 hours. You know, almost a week working on these alone. That took a lot of my time to work on these. But the Jaguar is all but finished except for that damn one sticky key that somebody broke years ago. I'm trying to get that thing, get that glue off there. I tried some solvent with a Q-tip. So far it's still sticking and it's not working. It doesn't dig that at all. So here we are, guys, waiting for permission to come back via text to the owner saying, give me permission to do it or not. Of course, if he says no, don't do it, it's because something happened before with the guitar plugged into this amp. And that's just the way to be careful, guys. That's always something to do. Always be careful with other people's gear. And if you don't have to hang parts on it just to fix something, don't hang the parts. Fix the problem. Don't just replace parts and say, oh, I'll come across the broken thing sooner or later. Now, I used to do that on my own gear because I would get in a hurry and frustrated. And they go, oh, fine, just buy a new board and stick it in there. You know, the hell with this. But, you know, this is not my gear, okay? And it's not my money I'm spending. It's the customer's money that we're spending. And that's what you do it. That's why you do it right. That's why people come back to me over and over again. That's also why people bring me stuff like this Roland over here, okay? See that? Now, I've never worked on this particular type of thing, but I've worked on PLCs, I've worked on computers, you know, on and off, on and off. And this is not much different than a PLC system, right? Direct contact, direct board. It's very, very simple done. There are some, you know, interesting, you know, twists to it compared to what I've done before, but all still the same. You know, circuits are circuits. And that's the one that I'm having hellacious time getting the schematics for too. This Jaguar, man, I tell you that I went up and down and back and forth with this thing, but finally got it. There wasn't that much to it other than just to show that one, you know, that one board, and you know, of course it repeats itself, right? You don't need to have a diagram of every single board in here to every note, like, you know, because there is a board per note, when they all do the same thing. A little confusing, I'm sure. But there we are, guys. This thing's working. And I'll turn it on here a little bit and let you hear it play. But I want to test this amp before today's over. So I hope you'll get my text message and send it back saying, okay, test it. Because otherwise, I think I'm leaning towards putting that part on there. But I don't want to spend his money. Okay, it's 60 bucks. Now that's not cheap. Okay, so hang in there, guys. Here, we're working on the Vox again. It looks like it. What you're looking at right now is the super glue, the remnants of the super glue that were used on this piano, okay, this organ, which is not real smart, okay? So you got a buildup of this stuff. It's got to come off first, number one. And you got some that got on the keyboard inside itself, which is causing it to stick. That's the second mistake. And the third one was, if you look at this, you see those dots in there? That's the only points of contact this could possibly have anywhere on this key. Okay? Because the rest of the body is above. See that? So you gotta get something in there that's thicker, like double-sided tape, thick type, that can actually contact this body, right? Inside those, or past those two dots there, those posts that used to be. And actually touch the back body of this thing inside and touch this key, right? Otherwise it'll keep coming up all the time. And trying to use glue on it's just a big mistake, because you'd have to pour a ton of glue for it to work, and still it won't work because it's going to flow right off. And like I said, the 2 points of contact are those two dots right there, and that's just, they weren't thinking when they did this. Right? If you think these things through, guys, you won't have these problems in the future. Right? Now we have a nice clean surface to work with, no more glue on top, and that's the main thing. We'll get all that glue off there so it has a nice, good surface to adhere to, right? Same as on the inside. Now all the goo's out of that, right? Get all the goo out, and you have a nice clean surface to adhere the two-sided tape to. Once you stick it down, that's it, guys. There'll be no going back or removing it. Because if you do, it's just ruined. The job's ruined. So you let it stick and then it's done. And all the other ones, I just simply super lubed it, right, on the joints. Get those to stop sticking. Now it's just being stubborn because there's so much glue in there that they've spilt in it. And that's just, it's impossible to get all that crud out. There's too many fragile things inside this board. As you look at this, they can be damaged even just by taking it apart, as old as it is. And the most fragile being what they call these whiskers. See these above the putty? That little jewel right there, you can't find them to replace unless you're darn lucky. So far, no one's been able to tell me if I can find any extra ones. There's a spring on that platform, right? This platform is copper platform below it, that when it plays, it moves and touches this bar to create the note. Closes the circuit, right? So then you have a note playing. Simple as that. But you break one of those off, or it breaks, you know, because they're super thin. They're like less than 10 thousandths. You've got you a real issue. And that, I'm not going to even try to, you know, explain how that has to be done. And some of these are already bent. You know, you look at them, you know, on down the line, some of these whiskers are already bent over, which I had nothing to do with, thank goodness. But Once they're bent, guys, there's a problem because there's no way to replace them that I can find. And trust me, I've asked people, you know, if they need parts for these things. I could use a spare mounting bracket for this as well because one was broken. Okay, guys, if you'll look, there's absolutely no way around cleaning these this goo off this key without removing it, right? There's also a part missing here. Someone's been at this before because it's all bent up. See all this? Someone's been monkeying with this before I got a hold of it, and there's a part missing here, a return bobbin. It should be on there, and it's not, and I don't see any extra ones laying around. So that's going to be a problem. Oh boy. And what I can see inside of it, it's got some more putty in there, if you can see that or not, guys. Hold on. See that putty in there? It's on the key itself, or the contact switch itself. That's what's sticking. And it shouldn't be that. It should be a little red cover that you can get a hold of. If I can find it here. There we go. It's a little red thing. That is a sleeve that goes over this part right here on this key, and it's missing. It's not inside of it, it's not on, it's nowhere to be found, and it's got that goo on there, so that's going to be an issue. That's why this darn thing's been sticking. Anyway, this key's a little bit, the spring on this is a little bent up. Go look at that. See that? That's a little bit of an issue. Damn it. And beyond that, I'm going to clean this up, put it back in, so I can't get that goo off there, and go from there. So I can't get this thing from sticking, because this shouldn't stick after all I've done to it. As well as I'm going to replace the plastic part on there. Now I've got it out, I might as well go ahead and put this back on here, right? Now that I can see inside of it and underneath it, see the whole thing. And basically it's just contact right there, you see that? But there's a couple of things that have broken off that should hold this thing in place. It's back on there, right? You can see inside here, this last little circle should have a pop-in piece of plastic that actually holds this key in place and doesn't allow it to, you know, come off so easy. Which that may have done it, but it's not going to stay that way. You'll still be able to lift it up some. Damn it. But that's the way it goes. First your money, then your clothes. It's just worn out. That contact thing is worn out. So I'll clean this up, see if that helps any, get a little bit closer to that contact part with inside the plastic. See, it'll hold a little better. So hang in there, guys, while I clean this up. Even after the lube job I did on the little hinges on this piano, I found this one. The reason it was sticking, because this was actually this was bent at the wrong angle, and it was contacting the putty that holds the little springs in place, keeps them protected, and sticking. Okay, so that putty, instead of returning, it should have been on the metal itself, the return metal. You can see it now, the little brass piece down there. That's what it rests against. It should pop it back up again once it's been released. It helps with the spring to pull it back up. All right. So hang in there. We're going to get this thing finished once and for all soon. Okay, guys, we're back to the box again, and what I'm going to do, we're getting down to the end of this, and what I've done to fix that missing part, of course, I was told by this guy that I contacted asking, could you sell me one of these pieces, or sell me a few of them? He said, no one's going to sell you that because they're too hard to come by, and they need them for their own organs. So unless one has a broken organ that's parting it out, which he says there's no one right now he knows of, you fix it. So there's how I fixed it. All right? You take a piece of surgical tubing and place over it. And what happens is, this not only works on the spring that has on it, right? But that tubing presses up against a flat bar. I don't know if I can find it. Now you can't see it. There's a flat bar in there. It presses up against so it'll spring back and not just stick and just hang there. You got it? And that's the way these things work because everyone's made that way. So I'm going to go through, reattach this, get the right depth of that tubing. And I want to use this on every single one of those hinges. It's called super lube. So I'll go back through and lube every one of these to make sure that they don't stick, which none of them sticking right now. But future, because it only takes just one drop of this stuff on there, okay? And it should do the trick. So, well, here we are. We got everything working on this thing. You got the amp working, got the keyboard working, just not the damn foot pedal. And we're going to give it a little test run here. And as you'll soon find out, I cannot do keyboards. Let's see. Okay, so there you go, guys. It's all working. The keys are sticking, and the bass chords are not sticking when they're on. Okay, so everything's working on it, and that's what we promised to do, and there you have it. So, any questions about this or anything else? Dave's in Texas. Bye.